Hi, everyone. We are in Guadalajara. We've been here for 1 week in our beautiful loft Airbnb.
Yeah, and it's actually a real loft. I wanted to point it out because it looks like a fake background, but it's a real place with real everything. It's not fake. It actually really is this beautiful of an Airbnb that we've got here up on the 5th floor with a great view. Sorry, we closed the drapes just because otherwise it'd be too backlit on the video here.
So, back to Guadalajara.
Yeah.
Guadalajara is known for tequila and mariachi bands started here. And it's the second largest city behind Mexico City. So, yeah, it's a big city. Lots of traffic, just like what you think a big city was. Big, tall buildings, lots of traffic, lots of different neighborhoods, but lots to do, yes. And we went on a lot of different day trips and did a lot of activities here. The first place that we started out was with the indoor market and...
Oh, went to Plaza de Armas?
Yes.
Yep. So, big plaza where they had a bunch of different statues and a lot of different government buildings and places to go and see. A lot of vendors certainly out there on the plaza itself. They had, of course, the big sign that says Guadalajara. So, of course, every city nowadays throughout the world has to have their big sign. And of course
every
has it.
person that's visiting has to take a photo of it.
So we got that.
So we did that. But the government building, okay, what's the name of the government building?
Palacio de Gobierno, so the governor's palace.
Yeah. And it really was a working building, and it had you walk in and then you start going up the stairs, and there was this amazing mural on the ceiling.
Yeah, we'll put some details in the notes about it, but there were several murals within the government building, and it was just incredibly huge. Beautiful murals.
Yes. So we walked around the plaza, lots of shops, typical, the souvenir shops, lots of restaurants, cafes, and then we went to the biggest indoor market in Latin America. What's the name of it?
Well, it's called Mercado Libertad, so Liberty Market. So and it was huge.
3 stories high, just cram-packed with everything.
Everything you could possibly imagine to purchase.
Souvenirs, shoes, sunglasses.
Watches.
Oh my gosh. Food. And that's where we got that big torta sandwich and music blasting. And you're squeezing by people because everything.
It's super easy to get lost too. Because at one point we did split up and it was taking me forever to find back where Carol was when I thought, I'm going to go buy some shoes. But so it's definitely a fun, lively market. It was great.
Yeah, it is. And I don't even feel like we saw all of it.
Oh, we definitely didn't see all of it. We were there for hours, but at the same time, even for hours, we couldn't see it all.
So that was a really fun day. Then the next day, I'm not going to get the Tlaquepaque. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, difficult word to pronounce. Even took me a moment to figure it out. But
so that's we Ubered there. That was about 20 minutes away. So again, we're in a big city, so we were in cars and buses a lot. Everything is not walking distance. So, but
and it's one of these
really
what they call
town.
Pueblos Mágicos, which are these little magical towns. And so definitely if you're coming to Mexico, you're looking for, hey, I want to take a look at the small towns, just look up the word, do a search for the word Pueblo Mágico or magic towns, because that way you can't go wrong. All of them were just incredibly beautiful little towns here in Mexico.
Yeah, and that one was really, really pretty. Very nice restaurants, like high-end restaurants, shops there. That's where we went to the Sergio
Bustamante.
Thank you.
Yeah, so a very famous artist, and he's got his main art gallery here in Tlaquepaque. Another one in Puerto Vallarta, and he has these amazing outdoor sculptures. We saw a lot of them in Puerto Vallarta, and of course here on the streets in Tlaquepaque, he's got a bunch of them as well.
The gallery was beautiful. It was huge. I mean, he's got paintings and sculptures, and then it had this whole outdoor patio with his sculpture and a water fountain.
We couldn't take pictures inside, but we did get some photos of outside and such. So, we've got those for you can take a look at. But it was definitely worthwhile going. And
even if you're not a big art fan or you just don't understand art or whatever you think, it was a beautiful gallery. I would highly recommend going there.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a really good. Day. Oh, we went to the ceramic museum is also there, and then we went to this restaurant. Tell them about the restaurant where it was like all the same.
It was a really large indoor building, and it had a whole bunch of restaurants that were surrounding this kind of like center stage. And so they said, in the afternoon and evenings, they had different mariachi bands performing. But we went for lunch, and when we asked the one waiter, we talked to a couple of waiters, what we found is that really all these restaurants, they all look like they're separate restaurants in that they have the wait staff is in distinct uniforms and the tables are different colors and such.
Right.
But the reality is the one waiter was telling us, the food's all the same in all the restaurants.
So it doesn't really matter what table you sat at. It was making
me wonder, I don't know for sure, it was kind of making me wonder if it was like a cruise ship where you got the central kitchen that's kind of feeding the food out to the various themed restaurants. But that was kind of the thing there. It, again, just amazing food, and that's really been the case with all of Mexico, is that I wish we could eat more than 3 meals a day because there are just so many more restaurants that we would have loved to have eaten at, and there weren't enough meals in the day to accommodate all those restaurants.
That's where I had that queso fundido, which was like just like cheese fondue. I mean, I was just eating cheese and chips, so yeah, that was very good. And then the second part of the day, because that was the first half of the day, then we went to
Zapopan.
Thank you, Zapopan, and the park there.
Yeah, the Bosque de las Calmas. And Colmas, Bosque de las Colmas.
Right. So that park, again, Guadalajara, huge big city, and then you got this beautiful park in the middle of it. It kind of reminded me of like what Central Park is in New York, or the Golden Gate Park.
Gate Park.
It had a Japanese garden that was gorgeous, and horseback riding area where they were renting horses, and just I don't know, we walked around there for a long time. It was just beautiful.
Bosque means forest, and it really is like a huge forest in that respect as well, in that you can just walk around. There's jogging paths, so you can bike around the park.
The whole land was owned by one man. There was a house that he lived in that looked like a castle, but it was really more like a fairy tale castle. And there
were art classes going on
right there in the middle of it.
At the castle,
Right. So then after we walk around, then we go to the exit, and then we're at the main road again, and then you're back into traffic in a busy city. But that was a fun day. And then the next day, that's where we really took a longer road trip. We went to Lake Chapala.
Yep.
Okay.
And
that's about an hour away. So we took an Uber to get there, took a bus back. But
and then right next to it is the town of Ajijic. Both towns we had heard about having a very large expat community, so a large amount of Americans and Canadians. Now, we didn't actually visually see that many, in my opinion, very many Canadians and Americans there. It was really mostly local Mexicans who we saw that were there. We did meet later some Canadians who said they were from Ajijic.
Right, they're all retired and lived there, and said it was a very vibrant community there.
So
in fact, they told us we should stay and join them.
Right. I think they told me that there was like 20-some thousand Americans and Canadians expats in the Lake Chapala.
Oh wow!
And then I think even maybe more in Ajijic.
Oh, but Ajijic is a tiny little town.
It's another one of these magic towns, the little Pueblos Mágicos.
So the lake is actually the biggest freshwater lake
in all of Mexico.
Mexico. So, yes, it was very big. have to be honest, the water looked pretty brown. It was not crystal clear.
Yeah, it's not blue like Lake Tahoe, California.
Beautiful.
But
we didn't see anybody swimming in it. We did see some boats. I mean, people were going to be going out.
So a lot of fishing
and
boats,
stuff.
Right.
And they had a pier that we walked on. And then, of course, and then the town.
Mm-hmm.
It had plaza. It had lots of restaurants. It had, lots of shops, the tourist shops and everything again. And what was really fun was that day was Carnival here. So the plaza was setting up. You could tell it had a stage. It was getting chairs ready. So when we walked by it, and then we actually walked around a couple of streets, and maybe about an hour later we came back, and then it was the middle of the afternoon, and then it was packed. So I'm assuming
mariachis were performing.
Yeah.
They had dancing horses going on like we had previously seen.
Right.
And they were doing, I don't know, it was a contest of
I
some
was thinking
kind.
it was a pageant. We didn't stay and watch the whole thing, but I saw posters of women and a little bio on them, so I was thinking maybe kind of a carnival, Miss Carnival, maybe. I don't know, I'm guessing. And I'm assuming that people, it's a holiday. People were taking off work. There was lots of kids. This is all like right at noon, 1 o'clock, but it was very lively. Yeah. So that was a fun town to visit. Beautiful cathedral.
Great time of year for us to go to because the weather's just been perfect. So right now
70s,
it's March,
80s. Yeah, it's March, 70s
not
and
too hot.
80s.
Light
Light breeze at night. And then we just hopped on the local bus and went to Ajijic, which is only a 10-minute bus ride. I mean, they're really pretty close together.
And it's luxury buses. I mean, we're not talking like, generic little city buses. These, they have the name Plus at the end of it. So with the name Plus at the end of it, those are referring to like your luxury recliner seats, type of buses, air conditioning, and the drapes that you can close, if you don't want the sun on you type of
But
thing.
that was the one we took back. The one we took from Lake Chapala to Ajijic.
Yeah, no, it was the same type of Plus bus, right? Just not as big as the bus that we took
back from Ajijic back to
Guadalajara.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. But
that one was
same
only,
type of bus. And it's funny because they mentioned being, when I bought the tickets for it, they said, it's a nonstop bus, but the reality is it stops a whole lot. And it's just because anybody who flags down the bus, as long as there's seats available, the bus stops for them.
Yeah, pulls over.
And if you want to be let off, you just walk right up and say you want to be let off. Yeah. It doesn't have to be any kind of formal bus stop. They just will let you off.
Yeah, if the bus driver can stop. So
super nice.
Very nice.
Everybody's really friendly. Yeah, I mean, everybody's greeting the bus driver, saying thank you, goodbye to the bus driver when you're getting on and off. It was nice, pleasant experience.
So got to Ajijic. That one was even smaller than Lake Chapala or Chapala, city of Chapala. And we went down to the water there. We went down to the water and we found a park there, and they were doing the same thing, celebrating Carnival. Lots of people, lots of loud music going on, and everybody was having a good time.
Yeah, picnics and all sorts of things.
Again, little cafes, vendors, taco stands on the corner, lots of souvenir shops and everything. But, the big thing, not just in Ajijic, but what we're finding out, I know I'm kind of going on a tangent here, everywhere in Guadalajara, Mexico, is how nice all the people are. And what I mean by nice is you're just walking down the street and people are saying hello. They're saying, hola, buenos dias. People are smiling. They're not looking away. And very welcoming. Every time we're in an Uber or we're at a restaurant and we're sitting next to somebody or a waiter, everybody's always asking us where we're from. They want to know what we think of Guadalajara or whatever city or town we're in. Are you having a good time? What did you like? I mean, they're very
so the best part of the trip's been
being
the people
a good
and the food.
Ambassador. Yeah. They're very nice ambassadors to their country and seem very proud to be here. Yes. So that was a busy day, and then we took the bus. We took the luxury plus bus back home. That was great. And then our next day trip was to Tequila, which was fun because, again, Guadalajara is known. This is where the tequila plant is, and it's just like saying champagne. So they said that there was over 200
different types of cactus plants of that
agave.
you can produce.
Agave is the name of the plant. There's 200 different
from.
types, but there's only one that they use to make tequila.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, in the town of Tequila. And actually, when we were driving in, it was like a valley, and, like kind of Napa, Sonoma, where you would see all the vineyards. You saw all the blue agave plants. Yeah. So it has to be made from there for it to be real tequila.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. At first, we weren't going to go because we were thinking, we're not big drinkers and such. But everybody kept telling us, we met, you got to go. Tequila is really nice. And we're so glad we did, because it is a beautiful town. It's actually bigger. I was kind of expecting, it's just going to be about the same as Ajijic or Lake Chapala. But it was actually much bigger. And another one of these Pueblos Mágicos towns where everything is really nice and picturesque, beautiful. So a lot of fun.
We went on the Jose Cuervo tour.
Yep.
There was lots of difference. There's
We didn't do a full tour. They had like full 8.5 hour day.
And they also
tours.
Had like the Tequila Express from Guadalajara. You could take a bus all day and be with your tour guide. You could take a train. The express one is actually taking a train from Guadalajara to Tequila. And we were just in the distillery where they make the tequila right there, which is right in the middle, like right next to the plaza. Some of these tours will actually take you out into the field if you want to, where the agaves plants are grown. But we just did the 1 hour tour, which was great. So we actually got to see how things are made and how they chop the agave plant up. We got a little samples, which, oh my God, the first sample, it was called Clear Tequila, which was 50 proof. And they have to, I'm not going to say the right words. I'm not going to say the right words, but that was like the very first kind of go around with the fermenting and everything, and then it goes through lots of other processes. A sip of that, just a taste of that. That was wild. And that's where we met the tour that we were on was all these expats and retired people.
Telling us about Ajijic.
Yes. And that we should join them. And that was a fun tour because we were probably about 20 years younger than everybody else. So we felt very young on the tour. And they were all of them were just taking shots whenever there were samples.
Yeah, for the tequila tastings. Yeah. You could really get kind of loaded on all the tastings.
Right, you could.
Yeah.
So that was great. And lots of shops. We had a great lunch there, quesadillas and stuff. And then and the other thing that was funny around the town is you could go on these buses that looked like
like chili peppers and
barrels,
like tequila
the barrels
that had, of course, all different kinds of them.
And they were blasting music. They were the party buses.
There were definitely some of them.
So tequila was great. Definitely go to Tequila. And then the last couple of days, we've been just
hanging out in our
neighborhood, which is fantastic. Yep. Say the name of our neighborhood.
Well, we're in the Colonia Americana, so essentially the American colony. But what we noticed, it's not necessarily, or we didn't see any Americans wandering around.
It's not Americans, doesn't mean that.
What we saw was students. What we saw is just a lot of Mexican students. So it made it such that it was just a really lively, trendy.
Yeah, well, the University of Guadalajara is here.
Upscale, trendy place.
Yes, places are open.
Fun place to walk
late.
around.
I mean, there's lots of just cafes. Last night what time was it? It was 7:00. We were out looking for dinner, and there was one cafe, and every young person there, place is full, and they were all eating pastries, croissants, and stuff,
and coffee.
We
thought, 7 p.m. That seems kind of
is this dessert
too early or
do
too
they
late,
eat dinner
right?
at 9 or 10 o'clock? We don't know. But anyways, it's really...
It looked really good. So we said, we'll come back. And so we went out to dinner. But then sure enough, we came back.
And we had the stuff for dessert.
Yeah.
But this neighborhood, as we walk around, blocks and blocks, the architecture is beautiful. There's just some really big homes here that have been around forever. And lots of them are different colors. And so really pretty. And just lots of little restaurants and cafes. Found a bunch of vintage clothes stores. I haven't seen that anywhere else.
Of them. Yeah.
You found the barbershop, went and had your hair cut. And then about 5 or 6 blocks away, all of a sudden, then we found this huge road, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're just walking around.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge...
always know where we're going. We're just exploring. And so, coming across a huge road. It's just lined with restaurants.
Just
both
one
sides.
of the main roads.
Restaurant after restaurant after restaurant. So it's another one of those moments where I was like, I wish I could eat at all these restaurants. And
they had everything, not just Mexican, Chinese food, pizza, Thai, Mediterranean, a little bit of everything. So that's been really fun. And then down the street from us is the big cathedral here in this which is beautiful. We sat out on the plaza during the day, kind of early evening. There was a wedding going on. It just looked like it was like one wedding after another, because we saw the bride, we saw the wedding happening because the doors were all open. But then you could see people out on the plaza all dressed up like, okay, their wedding's probably next. Saw girls in quinceañera dresses. Quinceañera dresses. So that was really fun to see all of that going on.
Yeah, I think part of what makes it so lively and fun at all the restaurants and in all these plazas and everything is because the weather's so good, everybody's outdoors, and the restaurants are all indoor-outdoor restaurants, and so you hear the music, you hear the people talking as you're walking by, and so it just feels like a very lively atmosphere.
And that you're
a lot
a
different
part of it.
than when we're walking around back home in Seattle and such. It's like, okay, well, everybody's indoors, and so you just don't hear and see and feel that as much, right?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas.
But there's also there's just lots of music. It's loud. It's loud around here. Yeah. One night we were having dinner outside at a restaurant, and then a guy just showed up to the restaurant and started playing the guitar.
Yeah, he's one of these street performers. Yeah, just starts playing. So but loud, fun. Yeah.
And it felt very safe here. I mean, I haven't...
Oh, and talking about street performers. Yeah, at the stoplights, at the major intersections of stoplights, there are occasions where a street performer will come out and do a little performance and then go up to the first few cars asking for tips, right? There's jugglers, and then this one guy was a Charlie Chaplin...
Right.
Charlie Chaplin impersonator and such. Actually went and was talking to him for a little bit.
So they do it at the red light. They obviously know how much time they have, and before it turns green, of course they want some tips, and then they get on the sidewalk, let all the cars go by, and then as soon as the light turns red again, pretty cool. So we've had a great time here.
Yeah, so wish we could have stayed longer.
I know.
We had to cut our trip short.
It went by very fast, but I feel like we saw a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of things
There's so much
do
more
there
that we didn't see, of course.
So hope you come to Guadalajara. If you have any questions, let us know. I'm happy to answer them. Bye.
Bye, everybody.